So tonight we're talking again about ending your year strong. For those of you who may not have been following me for long, I am your inspirational coach, Dr. Janice Modeste, and I enjoy inspiring people to achieve all their goals. And the difference that I feel that I have that other coaches may not is that everything we use is biblical strategies. I know some others may not want to quote scriptures or whatever, but this is a Bible zone when you tune in with me. So get ready to hear what God has to say, not necessarily what Janice has to say. I'm just the instrument He's using to speak to you today. And He is the one who made the seasons, and that's why we are right now in harvest season. And this is the time where all the hard work that you've done, this is where you get to reap the labor, the fruits of your labor. But I wanted to be able to backtrack because I know the last time we spoke about, this is the time, this is for your harvest, you need to get your harvest. But realistically speaking, some of us have fallen down and we can't get up. And so I know, it's on our hearts to, okay, this is the last push. We want to end the year strong. We know we started strong, especially if you were in the fasting group. We laid out all our relationships, our health, and our financial goals. We laid it out, planned it with the Lord. And right now, it's time for us to reap what we have sown. And but in order to do that, I don't want to ignore certain situations that we may be facing, that I'm facing, you're facing. We know in life, what the enemy does is he sends things to derail us off of the mission and the plan that God has for our lives. And so what we want to make sure we do is that we have the tools and we have the support necessary to pick ourselves up and to keep moving towards our God ordained destiny. And so we're going to just go through some quick points, and then I'm just going to whet your appetite, because later at the end I have an offer for you where you can even get more tools and more support to help you end your year strong. Okay? And so we're going to go through with the just 4 simple steps, on how to bounce back so that you can make it to the finish line. So right now we are in October. We have November, December, and we know that those months could be so hectic that we could just totally, fall even deeper. And what's interesting is those months are the most depressing months for most people. December, January, those could be depressing times. And so we want that, and while everyone else is becoming depressed because they're not able to, reach their goals, I want you to be able to have all the tools you need to bounce back and finish even stronger than you finished before. And so we're going to go ahead and work on those different steps that we have. Because as I said, the goal is to finish your year strong. And there's only one place we can go to get all the tools that we need for success and to finish strong, and that's the Bible. And it's proven for over 5,000 years, so hey, why not, right? Okay, so the first thing to bouncing back, because as I said, it's great to say finish your year strong, but we have to first know where we are. So first of all, we have to take stock in our lives and say, okay, where am I right now with my goals? So we should have had our goals written down. And if you've been following me from the beginning of the year, I know you have your goals written down. And so right now, if you're going to finish your year strong, you have to first know where you are. And then, so number 2 is to admit that you have fallen off your goals. And so I'll be the first to admit that some of the goals that I've written, I've made some gains, and we're not here to feel, guilty about not reaching every single goal. What we're here to do, what we're trying to do right now is to just find out, where are we? Honestly speaking, where are we with our goals? And then we have to admit, okay, I've fallen off this goal right now. And so, where do I go from here? So welcome, Gail. I'm glad that you're joining us. And then the next thing, number 3, we need to seek God's hand to pick us up. And we need to know that he will send different help in different forms. So this may be one of the forms that he's sending to you, which is his word that we should be spending time reading and hearing. He might send people, and then he might send angels. But tonight, right now, we're just focusing on his words and focusing on people that may be sent to help us. So right now, I'm just your support, and I'm here to just help you get to your God-ordained destiny, because your job that God has for you is so important that it's going to end up having a ripple effect and reaching many more people than you can ever imagine. And so that's why right now you may feel as if you're down, is because you're doing something great that God has called for you to do, and then the enemy's job is to try to derail you from that. And so, however, my job is to help you to bounce back and to get back to the mission that God has for you. And I just don't want you to belittle your mission. Your mission is as great as Mother Teresa's. It's as great as Nelson Mandela. Your mission is great. The only difference between them and us is that they bounce back from failure. And the awesome thing about bouncing back is when you think about the word bounce, you think that it hits the bottom, but then it gives it the momentum to rise back up. And so failure is an awesome thing, because when you fall and you get back up and you bounce back up higher. And so it's all about how we view things, because we have to remember that God says that all things work together for good. Hey Tyra, this is for you too. You have a great, awesome work that God has for you. And I just want to encourage everyone tonight to end your year strong. Don't give up on those goals that you have. Just do that last push. And I'm just here to, just to invite you to and inspire you to just end that year strong and just forget all the distractions, that may be coming your way. And so we're going through right now with the tools. So the first is know where you are. The 2 is admit you've fallen. 3rd is seek God's hand to pick you up. And just have your mind and your ears and your eyes open to the different methods that God may be using to send you a lifeline to pick you up. And then number 4 is do something towards your goal. And so what I want for you to do, even for those of you who may be watching the replay after this is done, I want you to write something below about something that you can do tomorrow. I could say today, but I'll give you tomorrow. Something that you can do. Well, if you're going biblical times, today is tomorrow because it's evening and then the morning. I'm just being facetious. But I want you to write down what you can do immediately towards your goal. So for example, you may have had a goal. I'll use myself. I'll be transparent. I had this goal to go to the gym 3 times a week. And then I got even more ambitious because I've been teaching people how to strategize and how to make smart goals. So I even have the time written down about from 5:30 to 6:30. I'm going to take Zumba, and then on Wednesdays I'm going to do body pump. And I had all these great goals, all set up. And in saying that, I don't want you to feel that any goal that you've set is small in God's eyes, because I want you to look at the whole person. It's not about just your spiritual goals. It's not just about your financial goals. It's also about your health and your wellness, how you eat, how you exercise. And that's how we become balanced. And so, to give us the drive to complete the mission. And I guess tonight I started talking about Nelson Mandela, so I'll bring him up again. For example, for him, he was in prison for about 20 years. And every day he did his push-ups. He did his exercise, because he was down. In everybody's eyes, he was finished. He was a failure because he was in prison and it seems like there was no getting out. But when he got out, he became the president of the same country that thought that they had, annihilated him. They thought that he was over. And so we see how that balanced approach, if he didn't take care of his body when he got out, he would not have been able to complete God's mission that he had for him. So I don't want you to belittle your health goals, etc. Everything that concerns you, God cares about. If it was important enough for you to write down for your goals, it's important enough for God, because any goal that you set, any ambition, every desire that you have, God gave it to you so that he can get the glory through it. And so that's why I just love inspiring people, because I know that God's placed it in me to inspire you to go out and do the great things that he has for you. And I don't want you to think, oh, he just wants me to, reach this person right here. Just think globally, and that even if you do have to reach one person, you're going to do that, with everything. And then God is going to multiply the fruit of your labor. So once again, this is harvest season, and I want for us to reap everything that God has for us, because he has great things for us this year. And I know that we may have fallen down in different areas. And as I was saying, I fell down with the goals. I started doing one time a week, and then before you know it, I'm out for the count. And then I have to try to figure out, okay, how do I bounce back? And that's just the hardest part. And so I just want to encourage you today that, if you are down, congratulations, because now you can bounce back, and you can bounce back higher. All right. And so it's not about, oh, I'm down right now, I'm depressed right now, I'm finished. No, that is just the beginning. And that's an awesome place that you can be. And it didn't just happen to, I just use a modern day person, Nelson Mandela, but that's the same thing that happened to Joseph. Potiphar thought that he was ending, Joseph at the time. And that was the fact that Joseph went to prison, and that Joseph became a slave, and all these issues that Joseph had, those were setups. Those were set up so he can bounce back. I love the word bounce back, because I could just imagine a ball falling, and when it hits the ground, it bounces back up. And the harder it hits the ground, the harder it bounces back up. And so the more things come at you at life, I want you to realize that you can bounce back even higher from it. And so you learn to embrace failure. So failures is just your bouncing. And so if we just have that mindset, the enemy won't be able to use it against us and cripple us. So a lot of times we cripple ourselves in our minds. And that's where the crippling effect happens. Because we know Jesus said, as a man thinks, so is he. It's in Proverbs as well. As you believe, so shall it be done unto you. It's basically the same thing. It's saying that, how you perceive things is how it's going to work out. So I want you to, go through your notes, your goals. Remember, those goals are not just yours. Those goals were divinely given to you. So don't belittle them, and don't belittle the mission that God has for you, and realize that he cares about your relationships with him, first of all, so that you can bounce back even higher. You can't bounce back without him, or you can try, but it's a losing battle. And it's, personally for me, it's too tough to bounce back by myself. So I prefer to rely on him to help me. And so, as we go through, I want you to, don't forget, I know I'm talking, but once I'm through, I want you to do something towards your goal. Even as I'm talking, you can go ahead and, type out, what are you going to do today? I'll just say today, because tomorrow is not a very good word. Because tomorrow gets me in a lot of trouble when I try to wait for tomorrow. So go ahead and write that goal down. And so I just want to be able to, encourage you today. So tonight is just a teaser for you. I have a lot more, because trust me, God has a lot in store for us, because I want us to remember that there's more rooting for us. There's more on our side than on the enemy side. And God is rooting for you. He wants you to end your year strong. And I just want you to know that even though it seems like you are down, that's a good place to be, because right now you're bouncing back up. And so I'm just here to inspire you with that. And I would like for you to